Welcome to F2D Steer to Persevere. Today we're taking a first look into this game. I'm going to show you exactly what this game is all about to see if this game is for you or not. This is made by a solo dev, so thank you very much for sending over a key so I can take a look at it and show you guys what this is all about, because this might be your next new game if you like top-down racers that has a bit of a retro arcade style to it. A little bit different, and it's all sort of based around F1, and you'll be able to tell with some design decisions, with some naming conventions, all that kind of stuff. This game you can wishlist on Steam. There's also a demo out, so you can try it for yourself if this has piqued your interest, and it comes out on the 2nd of December, so there's a few weeks to wait until this actually releases. I obviously have a pre-release version, so anything that you might see here might change or alter by the final release, just bear that in mind. And I will of course put a link to the Steam page in the description. This game has a lot of content in it. It's got a lot of stuff for solo players, it's got a stuff with multiplayer, but multiplayer isn't how you think it is. But I'll get to that in a little bit once I've covered a bit of the solo stuff, which you can see right here. We've got career, we've got championship, we've got single racer, we've got time attack. All those different aspects. For championships, you can add your own tracks in and do your own sort of championship. You know, there's many. You could have 4 races if you wanted to. Canada, Belgium, Netherlands, and Monza if you wanted to. And the number of drivers. Do a head-to-head if you wanted to. So that's the sort of customization there. Single race is self-explanatory. You just go into one race. Time attack is just... It's time attack. Again, it's self-explanatory. I don't really need to explain what it does. What I'm going to show you is career, and then we'll dive into some multiplayer later. So here we have our factory. When you start your career, by the way, this is all empty. You don't have all these buildings. You've got to purchase these with tech points and cash, which you get by just racing. Basically, recycling center, improves tire wear. So every time you do this, this should alter this here, your little stats. And as you get buildings, you get different things. So the R&D building is your team's performance in comparison to everybody else. You can customize your teammate, and this is the teammate's skill at the moment. And obviously I've done some customization as well to the actual car. You can go with presets to all the teams that you're probably used to, like Mercedes or McLaren or whatever you fancy, right? But I'm going to go back to how I sort of was. My sort of Maverick colors, right? And my Maverick branding is sort of this cyan blue, and then we've got this sort of darker blue. It's not going to be my exact colors. I'm just sort of, you know, quickly showing you that you can customize something like this. Bang, sorted. You've also got your rankings as well during this time in the championship. And yeah, that's sort of the management side. And as you get more money, obviously you can get more stuff and upgrade your car. And our next race, it's Brazil, which is what we're gonna dive into. So here we have sponsor objectives, which you can do, you don't have to do. They're just there. I wish this screen would appear a little bit longer because there it goes, you know, for more people to sort of process what they have to do for sponsor objectives. Anyway, so we've got downforce, balanced, and top speed. Obviously the game will actually explain this to you, what all this does, but this is just the setup, how you want it, based on the track. I think for Brazil we want a balanced setup. It's not necessarily a more downforcey one, nor necessarily a more top speedy one. I'm going to go in the middle. And although it's not particularly telling you, you might be able to see in the background, it is raining. The amount of times I mistakenly have forgotten or haven't really looked at the background to see if it's been raining, I've done it quite a lot, although just say it down here, rain. Yeah, so we're going to go on inters, I think, and then we're going to go off we go, because this is the qualifying session, and oh, I do apologise, my mouse is on screen. That is probably going to bug you as much as it's going to bug me. So you might be able to say, the physics, they take a little bit getting used to, I must admit. It took me a few sort of goes to sort of get used to everything. And using the incorrect tires is something that will affect your performance. And you might think this is quite slidey, but I just feel it's part of its charm, you know? It is an arcade racer. Let's get that mouse off the screen. And when it comes to track limits, you have one singular warning. If you do another one after that, that's it. You basically get sent backwards in the pack, but you don't physically move from the point of track where you are. I can't really show it as I qualified 21st. Whoa. And the one thing that you will find is the AI don't care where you are. And smacking into other people doesn't particularly matter. It's one of those sort of, it doesn't matter if you collide. There's no vehicle damage per se, but what you can get is punches. So you can do that. And yes, there is DRS as long as I'm a second behind someone else. And there is pit stops. So it's taking some of the basic aspects, making it for a casual audience, for everybody to understand, and you can play this exactly how you want. There's actually 2 camera options. Now this is one of the camera options. I think I'll show you the next one when we dive into something else to show you. I've obviously disabled music just because of copyright on YouTube, but the music's pretty good. It's very... I'm going to describe it as synthwave. And I like it. That's probably because I like synthwave, but it very much suits the style. And oh, that's the AI being AI. There isn't really a difficulty really for this. You can't really set a AI difficulty because I suppose the difficulty is based on what you have for your performance in your factory. That's what determines the sort of difficulty, whether it's getting easier for you or not. So you can sort of see by now how everything goes. You're going slow. Alright. I'm just going to keep on going until my tyres are done. Although, you know, is there a potential for a pit stop? Maybe. It's still running. Someone's binned in. There's no yellows really. There's not really any red flags. It's just fun racing against the AI. With obviously qualifying being you're ghosted, and this is definitely contact, because you've seen a couple of contacts thus far. Oh. In my space. We're on lap 4 of 6. But I do think this game does a good job of, you know, going back to that point of taking something that could be overly complex in a, say, a sim racing title to some people. You know, all that in-depth stuff about setups and pit stops and, you know, scheduling and strategy, and putting it into a little fun arcade top-down race. Oh. Yeah, the AI can screw you. Depending on where you are hit by, they can turn you around and all that kind of stuff. If you go off track as well, it will really slow you down. I do think the slowdown's a bit too much, but, you know, we'll see. You can give your own opinion. I'm surprised I haven't gone off track that much yet. I'm kind of in the zone, which is good. Whoop. Contact. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah. I was going to say we're doing well. Well, there you go. That's the sort of very brief off, and that's how slow down you get. Invalidated for track limits. And as you can see there, I'm down to 21st now. I was like, what was I, 14th? I don't have to do another lap, I think. So now we've got 700 and 600 or whatever, and we can scroll down. We can't do anything in engine. We can't do anything in... Oh, we can do a new chassis, so we'll do that. And there we go, that's altered that. And then we can't really do anything else. There we go. And it's just rinse and repeat through all the different sort of races, and you might be able to tell that all the tracks are based on the country. I'll show you a bit of time attack. Shall we do Canada? Let's do a bit of Canada. And we'll go balanced again, and we'll go on the soft. And I'll get that mouse out the way. As I put myself into a wall there. So if you do go off track, it will completely invalidate it. Whoa. Probably like that, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. So it will be able to tell you where you are on the leaderboard. As you can see, 107th after 275. At this current point of time. You can... Oh, that might be a track. Yep. You can get away with curbs and doing that kind of stuff, but not too much. It's relatively forgiving, and going on the grass is very unforgiving, as we've sort of established. And it does give you your ghost. As you can see, I am ahead. And if time trial is your thing in this, you can just have a go at this. And most of the time, I'm actually just letting go of accelerator for it to slide round. Like that. But sometimes I am using the brake as well. It just depends on the corner and how fast you're going. But it does work for the majority of the corners. This hairpin, definitely not. Definitely need a brake for that. And you can just keep on going. There we go. We're now 69th out of 275. So I've shown you a bit of solo. Let me show you multiplayer. Multiplayer is interesting because multiplayer is asynchronous. Meaning, you don't need to be online while other players are online. This does mean everyone's ghosted, but it's an interesting way of basically saying that you can play when no one else is playing, but you're racing other players, but not live. I hope that actually makes sense. The only other racing game I know, or full-on sim racing title that I know that does this, which is the co-op, which was a recent update, which was Le Mans Ultimate. You can do a 24-hour race with co-op over a week when your time suits. That's the sort of thing I'm getting at here. And I'll show you with it, with a single race. And there's an online challenge at the moment. It's Brazil. In fact, let's do the online challenge, okay? You can buy any of these, by the way. You'll get 2,000. Right, we're going to choose balanced again. We're going to go softs. Here we go. And look at that. That is everybody else that you were up against. My mouse is on the screen again. I do apologise. That is going to incredibly annoy me. And I'm sure it's going to annoy everybody else. I'm going to sacrifice my race here and do that. So you can kind of see everyone's ghosted, and there's, you know, there can be a range of you, and there's 33 in this. And this is what the multiplayer's like. So you might not get the same wheel-to-wheel multiplayer action as everyone else. The sort of contact element of this game is the solo mode. But this is all basically ghosted everybody else together as a race. And I think it's very clever, particularly for an indie dev. It's something I think maybe a lot of people might overlook, but I think it works for this sort of game. And we've got a puncher. There we go. I did tell you about punches, and that is really going to screw us. really gonna screw us. I'm not sure if tyre wear is accelerated in this. Here we go. There we go. Just like that. And you can hit your pit crew. Sometimes it's a sponsor objective, which is quite funny. Right, here we go again. But this should show you how multiplayer works. You know, it doesn't need a bunch of servers necessarily with everybody logging in. So you won't get this overwhelming server usage. And a game as small like this, it won't have the player base to sustain proper races, and you'll be matchmaking for ages. So it's smart, is this? And I like it. Yes, you might not have contact and all that kind of stuff, but you're still technically racing against others for position. And I think that's what we all love about racing games, no matter how it's been done. This has just been done a little bit differently because it is a bit of a retro arcade game. I like it. And if you do want to check it out, as I said at the start, oh, we're off. You can download the demo and check it out for yourself. I've got a puncher again. How have I managed this? How have I managed this? This is embarrassing. And that is F2D Steer to Persevere. Hopefully, you've come to a decision whether this game is for you or not. If you like that sort of top-down retro arcade racer, this might be for you. It is on Steam. You can wishlist it now. Link is in the description. And I'd like to know in the comments below, is this your sort of game? What do you think of it? And is there any feedback that you'd give about this game to make it better? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative, I'd like to see more content like this one, make sure you are subscribed. If you want to keep yourself up to date on news and updates of all the latest racing and simulation games, you can stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.